Hey, what's going on, guys? Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. All right, let's do this. Hey, guys, what's going on? Good afternoon to everybody on the Midwest, East Coast, and West Coast. Yeah, never mind. We're in the afternoon time zone. I got to stop saying that. What's going on, guys? Welcome to hashtag TNT JoFi. I am your host, Jerome Ortega. How's it going, guys? And then also to everyone else around the world, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening from wherever you guys are at. Hopefully you're doing well. This is episode something of TNT JoFi. Because I lost count, this is something. This is episode something of or day something of quarantine, because I also lost count. Nice to see you guys. We have a couple stories today. I didn't really get a chance to prep today. It's been quite a busy morning already. Just got a lot going on, but we'll try to trek it through. We'll talk tech, and we'll have a good conversation. And I already see a $2 super chat from Levin Williams. Levin, thank you, man. You are on a streak of super chats. Levin, hello everyone, made it to the stream. Levin, thank you for making it. Glad to see you. Again, thank you for the support. Thank you for the super chat. Always means so much to me. Wow, that's also another super chat pre-show. So Levin, thank you. Welcome to the stream. Max Tech Studios is here as well. What's up, everyone? How's everyone doing today? I'm good. Hope you're doing well too, Max Tech Studios. Glad to see you. Glad you could make it. Brian's in here as well. What up, everyone? What's up, Brian? What's going on, man? How you doing? Deepak is here. What's up, guys? What's going on, Deepak? And Paul Hendricks. Hi, Paul Hendricks. Hi, everybody. How's it going? Here's a question for you. Did you install Android 11 on your Pixel? Anybody? I think Deepak has a Pixel 4, right? I don't know if anyone else has. No, Brian has a Pixel 3. Brian, did you put Android 11 on your phone? I'm just curious. I put mine on, and on my Pixel 4, I put Android 11 on it, and it's looking clean. And actually, yesterday we talked about how Android 11 will start separating the notifications for messaging, and it kind of groups it together. So I texted myself on Hangouts, on Telegram, on Android messages, and it put it all together in one spot. And that was actually really nice. I tried a couple of the other features. I don't know. It just looks really clean. It obviously it's not a huge change, but it's looking pretty good. And it's I mean, so far it seems fluid. I do have an issue when I tried to get Google Pay working. I wasn't able to add my card for some reason. It gave me some error message that said I was either rooted or something. But actually, I think I have a story about that today, so we'll go over that. But yeah, I kind of want to rehash Android 11 and kind of talk about it, and then just follow up from yesterday's discussion about it. Max Tech Studio says I don't have a Pixel. Well, you know what? I heard it's coming to a couple other phones as well, so we're going to talk about that today too. Max Tech Studio says I might get the Pixel 4a. Yeah, whenever it comes out, right? Hopefully in July-ish, maybe. But would you rather get a Pixel 4a or a OnePlus Z if you had to pick one or the other? I guess it also depends on your priorities there. Levin says, I'm running Android 11 on my Pixel 3 XL. It's running pretty good so far. Yeah, I like the fact that I can long press on the power button and get, that other UI, I don't know what you want to call it, to get your Google Pay, but also for your home automation and, the power UI, I guess, if that's what they call it. Anyway, let me see here. Paul says, too bad. Found out my PC. I need a credit card for Super Chat. And on the phone, you just get an error, Netherlands. Paul, it's all good, man. I appreciate you supporting. Paul, you're already a subscriber or a YouTube member. And also on my Patreon, Paul, it's all good, man. I appreciate the sentiment. I really do. And I always appreciate the support. So thank you so much, Paul. Max says he would get a OnePlus Z. There you go. Yeah, Paul, don't worry, man. You're all good. Levin says that feature is the best. Yeah. So let's talk about it. Let's go into it. Brian says I haven't installed that. Not yet, really? No. Are you just not excited? You didn't want to test it out, or you just got a lot going on? I was just curious. So let's start talking about Android 11. And the very first story is how Android 11 is coming to other phones, which is actually pretty interesting that it's coming as a beta to other phones this early, literally a day after they announced it for the Google Pixel 2, 3, and 4. So Xiaomi and OnePlus join Oppo in this growing party. Google dropped the first Android 11 beta yesterday, which means functionality is getting close to what we can expect in the final stable version. This is usually the stage at which other OEMs are brought on board, so developers and enthusiasts can install the Android beta on devices other than Google Pixels. And now Oppo, Xiaomi, and OnePlus are announcing support for several of their phones. Oppo confirmed owners of the Find X2 and Find X2 Pro will be able to install the Android 11 beta later this month. Posting to Twitter, Xiaomi let users know that the Android 11 beta will be available on the Mi 10, Mi 10 Pro, and the Poco F2 Pro in the future. Okay, but there are no actual dates here. But the company does say to stay tuned as it will be coming soon. So good to see that, they're already talking about putting support on it, even for Poco, which is great as well, because this phone just came out. OnePlus has also announced the release of the beta for the OnePlus 8 series of devices, which is downloadable now from the OnePlus forum. So that's super quick. But I do have an article talking about OnePlus 8 and OnePlus 8 Pro if you decide to put Android 11 beta on it. I think there are a few caveats to that, but we'll get into that. Word from other manufacturers about beta support will follow suit, with the likes of LG, Nokia, and more assumed to join the party if support for the Android Q beta is anything to go by anyway. New features to look forward to include the power button smart home controls, quick settings, media controls, and significant changes to the way chat app conversations are handled. So, actually, this is another feature, but let's actually kind of go into the OnePlus 8 thing here with Android 11. So this article from Android Authority is saying if you want to install Android 11 beta on the OnePlus 8 or OnePlus 8 Pro, there are huge risks. I didn't read this article. I don't know how big the risks really are. I'd imagine if they're huge risks, they really wouldn't be putting it on their phones right now, or at least making it available. So while the OnePlus 8 and 8 Pro can download the Android 11 beta now, owners of those devices might be better off skipping this one. As reported by XDA, OnePlus has already released a 11 beta on top of Oxygen OS. This means anyone with the OnePlus 8 or 8 Pro can download and install the updated software on their devices right away. The release comes as part of the company's developer preview program. However, while the software is available to download, that doesn't necessarily mean you should do it. There are a ton of warnings that come with this one, including the possibility of breaking a device upon which the beta is installed. Like a soft brick, hopefully not a brick where like you completely make your phone unusable to the point of no return. I don't think they would allow that if that was the case. On top of that, there are a bunch of other issues that make it clear that this build is meant for developers looking to use Android 11. It's not meant for end users to install on their daily phones. You know that the whole like tech community, though, they're going to download it. They want to see what it's about. So here are the known issues with the Android 11 beta on the OnePlus 8 series. All data will be cleared while flashing the build. Face unlock won't work. Google Assistant doesn't work. Video calling unavailable. Certain UI screens look incorrect and some downright bad. Some apps may not function properly. System stability issues. So that's actually quite a bit of issues, but I'm pretty sure there's still going to be a good amount of people who are going to want to install it just to test it out to see how well, it fares on the 8 or the 8 Pro. That's a pretty hefty series of issues that go along with the risk mentioned above of bricking the device. Additionally, this build won't work with the Verizon or T-Mobile OnePlus 8 devices. Well, I guess that doesn't surprise me. For users who do want to install the 11 beta anyway, the phone needs to have at least 30% battery and a minimum of 3 gigs free space beforehand. It's important to note that this build only works on the 8 and 8 Pro, and attempting to flash the ROM onto older OnePlus devices could cause serious issues. So yeah, I don't know if it's worth it at that point to put it on your OnePlus 8 or OnePlus 8 Pro. Maybe later down the road when like an update for the beta comes out. But I don't know. I guess if you're watching this, you do it at your own risk. So to add on to Android 11, the one thing I didn't hear about and now I'm seeing here is that the Android 11 beta has 117 new emoji on board. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a big fan of emoji, and the fact that they are, going ahead and adding a bunch more is for me, it's a good thing. So I use emoji all the time, and being able to use new emoji is always a plus for me. So a new Android version would never be complete without a selection of new emoji, while keyboards and apps can take advantage of the emoji support library introduced with Android O and display any emoji independently. Having new smileys in the system itself means you can see them in notifications and in those applications that don't rely on the emoji compat library. Subsequently, the Android 11 beta packs all of the emoticons from the latest Unicode Emoji 13 update. Among the total of 117 new emoji, you'll find a pinched finger for that Italian flair. It's this one right here. That one's actually pretty good. And we have variations of existing animals like a black cat and altogether new animals like polar bears, bison, beavers, mammoths, and dodos. Some foods and drinks also get love like blueberries, olives, flatbread, fondue, and bubble tea. Regarding inclusion, we finally have an emoji for Mrs. Claus and for a person in a tuxedo or with a veil as opposed to a man or a woman. So it says here you can head to Unicode's website, which I did, and I don't know if these are all of it, but it says here emoji recently added. Let me see if I can make this bigger just to get an idea of what they're adding in here. So grateful, proud, relieved. I know this one. So this is, I'm just trying to see which is which here. So these are other, I don't know what formats these are. EPED, joy, sample. Anyway, I'm assuming it's just this Google one here is what we're going to be looking forward to in Android 11. So person with a veil, a woman feeding a baby, man feeding a baby. There you go. Mrs. Claus, people hugging, polar bear, dodo. I haven't had a chance to go through all these, and I'm just like, might as well take a look since I'm here. Oh, military helmet. That's cool. Plunger. There isn't a plunger? How? I feel like that would be, and a toothbrush. How are these not emoji already? Oh, and a headstone. I've been waiting for that actually, because usually I use a skull anytime I need to identify, death. So, I do have some other Android stuff, but I'll go through it real quick because I like looked here and I see a super chat from Brian. Brian with the $1 super chat. Brian, thank you so much for the support, man. Thank you for that continued support. You are on that continued streak of super chats. I don't think anyone's gonna beat you at this point. But Brian, thank you for the support. Thank you for the $1 super chat. Always means a lot to me. Always helps offset the cost for everything that I do to run this show, including the software you're seeing now to stream. So thank you, Brian. Appreciate it, man. It's always appreciated. Okay, so let me scroll back up here. Yeah, Levin says that it's good. It's coming to other phones now. Just got to get Samsung to get on board. I mean, Samsung's been pretty good lately with just getting updates. So I'd imagine that somebody has to be working on getting the 11 beta on there, maybe, while trying to figure out everything else that's going on with Samsung's One UI. Deepak says you can grab a cheap Xiaomi and test Android 11. Good news. Yeah, there you go. Actually, that's a really good point there. Brian says I don't want incompatibilities with visible wireless. Oh, that makes sense. I get that. Levin says I need OnePlus to release the beta for the 7 Pro. Yeah, I think right now their focus is just on the 8 and the 8 Pro. I'm sure it's going to get the update. It's just a matter of, when that's going to happen. Paul says, yeah, I just wanted to sometimes give some extra appreciation, but that's not something crucial. Paul, again, like I am, I'm very grateful either way. So if you're able to figure that out one day, that's great. But thank you, man. Thanks again for that support. It does mean a lot to me, Paul. So thank you. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and let's continue on. Oh, never mind. I see Team Varai here. What's cooking, people? Team Varai, what's going on, man? Nice to see you. Glad you could make it. And Mootster, where have you been, man? It's been a minute. Howdy. You can buy the OnePlus 7 Pro unlocked now at the OnePlus site. $499? Really? I know somebody was talking about the OnePlus 7 Pro yesterday. $499? Oh shit. I'll have to take a look at that. Is that the one with 128? It's 128 gigs, right, of internal storage. Thank you for sharing that info, especially for anyone who might be looking at a OnePlus 7 Pro. Damn, that's a. I'm gonna think about that later. Thank you for sharing that info. I had no idea. But Mootster, welcome to the stream. Nice to see you. Just FYI, Mootster, this is now my regular schedule at this time every weekday on the dot. and it's been 3 days in a row now that I've been on at 2 p.m. exact. So I'm going to make sure that's going to stay that way. Anyway, welcome, Mootster. Brian says, Samsung's been good with monthly updates lately, been beating the Pixels lately, but this is a major OS update. Samsung kryptonite. Yeah, that's probably true too. Brian says, I feel the 855 devices will get an extra update due to the Z Flip launching with it. Oh, that's actually a really good point. I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't even think about that. Okay, so let's move on. It's still a bit more Android 11 beta news, and I don't have much news after this. One of the articles I have is to kind of really get into the P40 Plus, because I kind of want to talk about the P40 Plus and talk about I don't know. I kind of want to get it because I really want to test the cameras out on that, because apparently those cameras are superior. Well, I don't know if superior is the right word, but are higher. They might be better than the Pixel 4 and the 11 Pro. And if that's the case, I really want to like dig. Well, it's not that, you know what? I kind of want to get the P40 Pro, not only to test the camera, but to see if I can live without Google and see if it's actually something that is possible. But we'll get into that. So I do want to talk a little more Android 11 beta stuff before I continue on with the P40 Plus. But this article from Talk Android is talking about how the Android 11 beta is borking Google Pay on your Pixel. So this is my issue. I haven't read this article, but I'm assuming it's the same issue that they're seeing here. But when I tried to put my credit card in for Google Pay, it wouldn't let me. It errored and it said you're rooted or something. I can't remember, but it says here, these are exciting times for Android enthusiasts, with Google finally unleashing the Android 11 beta program yesterday with Pixel smartphones, the first devices to be eligible for the new firmware builds. So let's see here. One of the first big issues of installing the first Android 11 beta has come to the fore. It breaks Google Pay. So this is the error message I'm getting. It says, couldn't finish setup to pay in shops. This phone can't be used to pay in shops. This may be because it is rooted or altered in some other way. I wish they had mentioned that prior. I feel like that's something that they should have fixed before they put this out, but it is what it is. So it says here, Google Pay is one of the most frequent features that doesn't work in beta firmware. Well, okay, there you go. Thanks to it not being able to pass safety net certification. Okay, so that's why. And using Google Pay and Apple Pay is it's not that new to me, but I use it a lot more frequently now than I have in, say, like, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 months ago. Unusually, Google Pay was working on the fourth and last developer preview to roll out, so perhaps and hopefully this is a short-lived glitch. When you attempt to set up Google Pay on a Pixel, the process fails when verifying the card for in-store payments, and even if it was working before you received this first Android 11 beta, the payments app will stop working properly shortly after, and the same error message appears, which I read here. It's a pain, but to be expected. That beta firmware will have a few issues, and it's important to note that the beta isn't actually meant for use on your main device. So fair enough. I mean, I have my iPhone 11 Pro and Apple Pay's on there and it uses the same credit card. So, it's fine. If Google Pay is one of your mainstay apps, you may want to see about exiting the beta program for the time being, which is fair enough. I mean, I would assume people who are using it, well, I don't know. I feel like at this point, a lot of techier people have more than one phone. And if they have a Pixel 4 or the newer Pixel and they want to run Android 11 on it, it's usually for testing at this point. So yeah, that's it. I think that's all I had for 11 beta. Oh, shit. Moodster with the $14.99 super chat. Moodster, thank you, man. Thank you so much for the super chat. Wow, you every time Moodster super chats, it's usually on the higher end. So Moodster, thank you so much. I will be sure to add you to the intro and outro for the June super chatters. I've been picking up the replays though. I'm glad you have. Hopefully they're entertaining and you give a good listen. And but it is nice to see you live in here and being able to chat and engage with you as well. So Moodster, thank you for the support, man. Appreciate it so much. Thank you for stopping by. And again, very nice to see you. All right, guys, let's let's continue on. I just want to make sure I don't miss anyone else here either. Yeah, Brian's saying special thanks. Yeah, thank you so much, Moodster. Levin is saying I also seen that article about the beta broke Android Pay. That's why I didn't put it on my Pixel 4 XL. There you go. At least you read it before I did, because I just installed it. I didn't see this and I had no idea. I didn't think about that. So let's see here. Team Verizon says, always got bugs to watch out for. Unfortunately, I've had bugs before on Zen phones, Galaxies, and whatnot. And yeah, that is the risk you take. That's the price you pay for putting betas on your phone, or when I used to mod, putting nightlies on your phone, right? And nightlies are kind of just like daily betas. You can never expect to, or don't be surprised if something isn't working. It is the risk you take when doing that. I see Karan Hope here. Karan, hopefully I'm saying that right. I know I've seen you here before. Karan, how's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. Hey, Jerome, you heard about the Android update that allows the government to track your COVID-related locations without your consent? Are you talking about contact tracing? I don't know if you're talking about contact tracing. If that was something that happened in conjunction with Apple as well, right? I believe that's what you're talking about. So I don't know the inner workings of it. He the way I feel about it, like I'm not for it, right? It isn't something that I want. I guess what I'm trying to say is at the same time, I also feel that we can't run away from it, which sucks. I know that Google is trying to like add all the privacy stuff in here and make sure that like we take away permissions and all that kind of stuff. But or kind of regulate the permissions and be like, no, I don't want that. No, don't give me that. And give us more control. But I still think it sucks. I feel like we can't escape it. And I think the only way to escape it is by having a dumb phone. Is that what I like? I don't like saying that. I wish it wasn't like that. I don't trust anybody at this point, especially, I mean, not just like government, but I mean, for me, it's even just bigger corporations. Like I have no idea what they're doing behind the scenes, what stuff is actually going through and what isn't. I mean, stuff is getting hacked all the time, but yeah, I feel like if anything, it's just a way that, they can track us further or get a better sense of tracking us, which is also why they're trying to pass a couple of things right now in Congress or just in the political system in general about laxing a lot of, privacy concerns for the sake of terrorists, whatever. And it's like, no, it's just they want to spy on us. Again, I feel very strongly about that. And it's not something that I agree with. And I wish that we had better privacy for a lot of stuff. I just don't know. When they tell us our stuff is private and it's not going anywhere, take that with a grain of salt. Do a lot more to prevent yourself from getting that, getting your privacy taken away from you. Again, that's how I feel. I know there are people who are also going to be like, well, I'm not doing anything wrong, so who cares, but it's like, that's not the point. That's a right for us as people, is we should have that kind of privacy. Like I don't allow people to know everything about me. Like why should I have that data readily available for people? Anyway, I know I'm going kind of off tangent there, but anyway, so moving on, Karen, welcome to the stream. Nice to see you. Ronaldo's in here too. Ronaldo De Leon. What's up, Jerome? What's up, Ronaldo? How's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. I haven't seen you in a minute. Nice to see you. Let's see here. Tectonic says, just put some marshmallows inside a tube. What? What did I miss? Did I forget something, or is it going over my head at this point? Kieran says it's understandable, but at least let us know rather than sneak it up. Yes, absolutely. Completely agree. And I just love how they baked it right into the update. It's like, no, here you go. Nothing you can do about it unless you don't update your phone. Yeah. but I agree. I agree. Mootster says using iPhone today, work phone, taking a short break from work. There you go. Again, Mootster, thank you for stopping by. Ronaldo says, "What up, Jerome and everyone?" Anyway, guys, let's continue on. Wow. So I'm halfway through. I don't even know if we'll have stuff to talk about. I'll figure it out. Oh, okay. So actually, what I want to talk about, a couple days ago, I read this article about how somebody said that Face Unlock was better than the rear fingerprint reader on the Pixel. That Face Unlock is now better overall because now there's so much more support for third-party apps. And I was like, no, that's a bunch of bullshit. At least in my experience, because I have two apps that I use that I still have to put a password in that I can't use Face Unlock for. One of them is Chase, and then the other is Capital One. Those two banking apps or money apps, whatever you want to call it, credit card apps, I still have to put a password in, and I can't get through it without putting a password in, which is why I use my iPhone 11 Pro instead, because Face ID works perfectly with it. I don't have to add an extra password. It's very convenient. And I don't know when. So I don't know if that's Google's fault. I don't know if it's the third-party developer's fault, or it's a combination of the two. But this article from Android Police, I have a lot of Android Police articles today. This article from Android Police is saying that Chase Mobile is rolling out support for the Pixel 4 Face Unlock, which makes me happy to see. But at the same time, not that happy because it hasn't rolled out to me yet. So it says here, Chase's Twitter support says it's slowly rolling out since June 2nd. I don't know if any of you guys use Chase, but if you do, let me know if you do have a Pixel and they're using Face Unlock for it, because it's not working for me. So more and more apps support Android 10's biometric API, which means that they finally work with the Pixel 4's Face Unlock mechanism for authentication, saving you from typing in your password or PIN over and over again. Again, not my case. Still doesn't work for me. One of the big four banks in the US is now getting ready to jump on the bandwagon for its app, Chase. Unfortunately, Face Unlock support isn't live for everyone just yet. A lot of folks have been lobbying for Chase app Face Unlock on Twitter for a long time, and the Chase support account has taken it upon itself to finally give these people some good news, telling them that the security feature is rolling out since June 2nd. Hello, beginning June 2, Android users with Pixel 4 devices only can sign in using Face ID. I love how they call it Face ID because it's just Apple has coined that term. Face ID is a term for Apple, but I get it. To use this, please make sure you are using the most up-to-date version of the app. Please let us know if you have any other questions or concerns. However, none of the Chase customers here at Android Police can reproduce the feature. Well, there you go. So there's a bunch of people who still can't use it. I don't know if anyone who has Chase has successfully used it. Again, I wasn't searching for people who are able to use it or not, but it says here an option for Face Unlock is nowhere to be seen for us in the latest version of the app, even though Chase's Twitter support says it's available under My Settings, Touch ID. I went here as well. I can't find it. It's not working for me. There's hope, though. It looks like it's a staged server-side rollout with version 4.120 from May 29, activating the feature for at least one of our commenters down below. Well, there you go. Either way, it likely won't take a long time until Face Unlock is finally a thing for everyone using the Chase app. I guess in the meantime, I will just continue using my iPhone 11 Pro to get into, my Chase app, because it's too inconvenient at this time for my Pixel 4. Mootzer says, surprisingly, Wells Fargo issued an update this week to allow Pixel 4 XL's Face Unlock. Yeah, actually, I think I saw something about that as well. I read it, but I was like, well, I don't use Wells Fargo. So, but if you do, that's great. I'm happy for you. I'm jealous because I would like to use it on my Pixel 4 and I can't do that right now. Levin says, even though I like Face Unlock, but right now it's a hassle when wearing a mask. Fair point. Fair enough point. I will say I don't really open my Chase app when I'm out in public. Actually, that's weird thinking about that, because I think about when I use my Chase app and it's usually when I'm at home. I don't usually open it up when I'm out and about, But yeah, that's a great point and a whole other story there. And my banking app still doesn't do face unlock. I wish these app developers would hurry up. I agree. But that's a fair enough point, Levin. That makes a lot of sense. Tectonic says you are the best, Jerome. Thank you. Thank you for the very unsolicited compliment there, Tectonic. Very nice of you to say. You're pretty nifty yourself. Let's see here. Ronaldo says I can use Face Unlock on my Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus for Chase. Yeah, good for you. I can't use it. Yeah, I don't know when they're gonna make that available. Actually, that's really great that you share that, because that's nice that Samsung has worked with the third-party developers to get it working, and I can't use it for mine. Actually, wait, that's surprising though, because I have face unlock for my Galaxy A71 and I can't do it. I think I tried actually, and I don't think they allow it. But maybe it's different for the Galaxy Note 10 than it is on the cheaper A71. So I don't know. Okay. All right, guys, let's move on. God, I only have, it's pretty much one story left, but we can talk about whatever. I think I have a couple other things, but this might actually take a bit. So this article, again, from Android Police, is talking about the Huawei P40 Pro Plus, and it's now available outside of China without Google Apps. Really quick, like I said earlier in this stream, the Huawei P40 Pro Plus is a phone that is on my radar right now because I've heard a lot of good things about it, despite it not having Google. I really want to test it out for its camera because I heard that it might be even better than the iPhone 11 Pro, better than the Pixel 4, and I would love to test it out. There is also a really, I guess, like, weird, quirky part of me that wants to mess around with this phone and use it as a daily driver because it doesn't have Google. And just to use it and see how I can get through my week. I actually think that would be a good video, to use it for a week and give you my experience of having a phone without Google on it and relying on whatever else instead of Google Maps, instead of like Google Keep, Gmail. Oh my God. I'm so deep into Google's ecosystem with photos and Google Pay that I can't imagine being outside of it, but I would still love to test it out. So at the end of the day though, the P40 Pro Plus is a very, very, very expensive phone. And I just cannot see myself spending that much money on one, especially without Google. But 4 rear cameras, 2 colors, 0 Google Maps. Even though Huawei has been blocked from working with Google, the company is continuing to push forward with its Android smartphones. The P40 series was announced earlier this year, but at the time, only the P40 and P40 Pro, P40 Plus models were available to purchase outside of China. Now, the camera powerhouse that is the P40 Pro Plus is coming to the rest of the world, but there's still no sign of the Play Store, and I don't think that's going to be coming anytime soon. The main selling point of the P40 Pro Plus is the rear camera array, which includes a 50 megapixel main lens, a 40 megapixel ultra wide camera, an 8 megapixel periscope lens, and an 8 megapixel telephoto. I mean, those, I don't really know the specs on them, but it sounds like a lot of camera options here for this phone. There's also all the usual high-end Android smartphone features: 4,200 milliamp hour battery, 40 watt fast wired charging, Android 10, IP68 water protection. Okay, so no headphone jack. So it doesn't use a Snapdragon. It uses a Kirin 990 5G chipset. 8 gigs of RAM. You can get up to 512 gigs of internal storage. We went over the cameras already. And then it uses EMUI, Face Unlock, Wi-Fi 6 Plus. Before you get too excited, this phone doesn't ship with Google Play services, so there are no Google applications. Most third-party Android applications won't work either, thanks to their reliance on the Play services framework. So our own Scott Scrivens went hands-on with the P40 Pro, and it was a fairly frustrating experience. Huawei has been slowly improving its own app store, but it's a tall hill to climb. And then so it says here, the P40 Pro Plus is now available for pre-order in Europe for €13.99, which is almost $1,600 US, and $12.99 GBP in the United Kingdom. That's a lot of money to pay for a phone that won't be able to run Google Maps, but at least you'll be able to take some fantastic photos. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. There's a weird part of me that wants to test it out, that wants to see if I can live without Google. There's also a part of me that is a little tired of Google shit. Like, I'm not going to lie. I'm happy for Android 11, right? I'm happy Google is still continuing to do their thing, but there are a lot of things that I'm not on board with. A lot of them giving up on, certain hardware and software, but we rely on them. They make our ecosystem, and a lot of stuff works really well. I think about other things I use with Google, like Sheets and Docs, and like I said earlier, little things like Keep, and then all my photos in Google Pay and Gmail. And to think that I wouldn't be able to use any of that and try to rely on something else is kind of crazy, but also makes me curious to see how I could live without it. I might try this out. Maybe. So let me continue on though, because what I want to talk about is the P40 Plus and its camera, and actually dig into this camera and see what it's all about. So this article from Android Central is saying Huawei gives us the most versatile smartphone camera ever, with a catch. I don't know if that catch is no Google services. I'm assuming that's the catch, unless there's a different catch that I'm not privy to. It's been half a decade since the first telephoto zoom cameras brought extra versatility to smartphone photography, letting us pull more detail from our shots without relying on crummy digital zoom. Since then, advancements in tiny telephoto technology have given us three times and 5 times zoom, which when paired with an ultra wide lens, lets high-end smartphones imitate the range of a dedicated point and shoot pretty well. The technical wizardry required to fit those optics into something that itself fits comfortably into your pocket is no small feat. And I give credit to companies who are able to fit all this technology into a smartphone. Think about how far we've come in the last 5 years, in the last 10 years. I mean, if you guys have seen some of my older camera comparison videos, I do like legacy tests. Actually, I did one with my original iPhone versus my iPhone. With my iPhone 11 Pro. And it's just crazy to see how far a lot of camera tech has come. So let's see here. Sorry, I lost my place. Let me get back into it. Periscope cameras of the kind found in the Huawei P30 Pro and S20 Ultra reflect light internally to reach the required range. The next evolution of these bleeding edge optics is the centerpiece of Huawei's top tier camera phone for 2020, the P40 Pro Plus. This is a real optical 10 times zoom in a phone, and once you've tried it, you'll want it in everything. I've never had that. So I would love to see how useful a 10 times optical zoom would be for me. Other phones will get there perhaps in the next year, but Huawei has this next gen zoom shipping on a phone this month. Of course, being a Huawei phone in 2020, there's a pretty big software related elephant in the room, particularly given its £12.99 price tag. Let's start with the fundamentals of the P40 Pro Plus. It's a souped up version of the P40 Pro that's been on sale for a couple of months. Major differences include a bump to 512 gigs of internal storage and a luxurious and reassuringly hefty ceramic back in black or white. On the inside, the Plus can also charge wirelessly at up to 40 watts using a proprietary Huawei charger, surpassing both the 30 watt of OnePlus's wireless Warp Charge and Huawei's own 27 watt wireless charging. Cameras aside, the Plus also boasts more storage. Okay, we talked about that. So let's talk about optics. The P40 Pro Plus shares its cheaper siblings' main and ultra wide cameras, as well as the dual selfie shooters punched into the display. But instead of a single 5 times optical zoom camera capable of 10 times hybrid zoom, the Plus swaps in 3 and 10 times telephoto modules. So wait a minute. The P40 Pro Plus versus the P40 Pro, right? So if I were to buy the P40 Pro, I would still get to use the main shooter, right? Which is really what I'm interested in more than anything else. Like, I would love to try the 10 times optical zoom, but I would love to just see how good the main shooter is on the P40 Pro. So if that's considerably cheaper, maybe I could take a look at that to test out the cameras, just to test out the main shooter, see how good it shoots during the day. And really what I want to test is to see how well it works at night. Anyway, let's continue on. So that's a smartphone camera first, and it gives the P40 Pro Plus the bragging rights of going all the way up to 20 times in hybrid zoom mode or 100 times in digital zoom. Spoiler warning though, you don't want to zoom up to 100 times. The former is similar to what we've seen in phones like the Huawei Mate 30 Pro of late for mid-level zoom shots. The latter is totally unique in the smartphone market and a big part of what makes the P40 Pro Plus special. The 10-time camera's internal periscope reflects light a total of 5 times to hit that impressive number. So, okay, I want to talk about the main camera, and I know there's a lot of talk about the zoom here, and I guess that's the main focus because that's what makes the P40 Pro Plus a plus. And we'll get, I don't want to read all of it. I kind of just wanted to see what the results are, or at least even just talk more about the main shooter, but maybe that's for another article. But we'll see what else is in here. So you do need to baby this phone a little more than the average 5 times zoom setup. Hand motion will be amplified in your shots more than you're probably used to, making muddy or blurry captures a possibility if you're not careful. But Huawei has also employed some heavy-duty stabilization, both optical and electronic, to ensure a smooth capture. The only time I really struggled with motion blur was when shooting from a moving vehicle, which is hardly ideal for any kind of photography. Fair enough. There's a definite learning curve involved in mastering the 10 times lens. So progression from ultra wide, standard, 3 times, 10 times zoom. So this is ultra wide, right? Yeah, ultra wide, standard, 3 times zoom, 10 times zoom. Those look all very clean. Those are all very clean shots. Nevertheless, the power to bring distant terrain into view or to get closer shots of kids, pets, or wildlife without spooking them is a huge attraction. I read that. Let's read that again. The power to bring distant terrain into view or to get closer shots of kids, pets, or wildlife without spooking them is a huge attraction. The fact that the very first thing there is kids and taking a picture of them at a distance without spooking them is a huge attraction. That I feel like that sentence needs to be restructured. The pets or the wildlife, okay. This sounds like now you're just being in creeper mode. For the most part, the P40 Pro Plus is able to zoom all the way up to 10 times and sometimes beyond while maintaining the fidelity, color, accuracy, and dynamic range of its other cameras. The only times I noticed markedly inferior photo quality from the super zoom lens was when it was obviously cranking up the ISO or shutter speed to compensate for motion blur. These are 10 times camera samples. I was going to say, even just for a main shooter, that is looking pretty good. So is there a shot of how far he was from this? There isn't. I really wish that he had. So if this is 10 times, I'm just wondering how far away it was, because these are, I mean, this is a little off, but otherwise they're very good shots. If you want to be a creeper mode for cows. As mentioned, though, a steady hand is important, particularly when shooting distant objects. The same goes for zooming past 20 times, where straying into where straying into digital zoom territory can result in blotchy watercolor-like pics. Just like the S20 Ultra, Huawei's camera app will let you zoom all the way up to 100 times, but don't expect much Instagram kudos for those shots. Autofocus, though more challenging than the phone's other cameras, is dependable enough in 10 times mode. It's good. Where it gets confused a little bit of jabbing on the viewfinder is usually enough to set it right. In video shot at 10 times with a lot of motion or a fast moving object, expect a little bit of focus hunting here and there. Yeah, I would assume so, especially when you're zooming in that much. So the P40 Pro Plus's 10 times camera complements what was already an impressive photographic loadout. The 40 megapixel Cine sensor, which debuted in the Mate 30 Pro, captures wider scenes in photo mode and boosts the phone's video capabilities with a wider field of view and better low light movies, thanks to its large sensor size. Reading about all of these specs and how good the camera is on this P40 Pro Plus, really, as somebody who's really into photography and camera work, it really makes me want to test it out. Even just looking at these camera samples, they're very impressive. The standard telephoto at 3 times lets you punch in to take a close portrait shot or capture a closer perspective of a landscape or skyline. The primary camera is frankly bonkers. So, and again, that's really what I want to test out, is the primary camera. I mean, I'm looking at this and it's like, holy shit, like it's a great shot. Very rich colors. And, I don't know how natural the colors are, but for someone like me, my style of shooting, especially when I edit photos, is something a little more rich, a little more contrasty. That is my style. I would rather have it start off neutral though, right? And that's why I shoot in RAW. I'm sure this phone does it too, but I've talked about this. When I shoot with camera phones, I just want your basic point and shoot. But if this is what I get out of a point and shoot camera, like, yeah, sure, sign me up. The primary camera is frankly bonkers. It uses a 1/1.28 inch 50 megapixel quad Bayer sensor to spit out 12 megapixel images, and the gigantic sensor size makes for shots with luxurious bokeh, whether you're shooting stills or video. In low light, expect bright and clear pics without resorting to the software night mode. Can you imagine if this P40 Pro Plus had Google services on it? People would be raving about this phone at this point. Obviously, this is the caveat. You're not going to get Google on it. So in a way, it's kind of like buying a high-end camera and that's it. It doesn't have other phone capabilities. Obviously it does. It's just, not having Google is a very big sore spot for this phone. Okay. Continuing on, speaking of which, if you've used the telephoto camera on a phone in darker conditions, you'll be well aware of how these cameras quickly revert to a digital crop of the main sensor in darker conditions. This could lead to frustrating situations where your photographic range is seriously diminished in nighttime shots. All right, let's kind of just scroll down here, because I know they're really focusing on the zoom or the telephoto, which is great. I kind of just want a little more sample shots. And these are, okay, so these are 10 times photo samples. Like, this shot is already pretty fucking good for a 10 times photo sample. I'm assuming there's no editing. I'm assuming there's no post-processing in these shots. If that's the case, these are very, very impressive. Am I looking at the same? Oh, there's only 3. I just keep rotating through them. One area where I really appreciate this versatility is when shooting video. If you followed our Mate 30 Pro coverage, you'll know the Cine sensor can produce effortlessly smooth pans and moving shots, but the main sensor, with its much larger size and natural bokeh, can also create the kind of shots that you'd think might have come from a standalone camera. Those are big words. That's a big statement to use. And it makes me excited, because it makes me really, I have to look at my bank account, see if it's something that I might want to purchase next year. So the bottom line, next year, the other big names in Android like Samsung and Oppo are sure to develop their own versions of optical 10 times zoom in a phone. But in the Huawei P40 Pro Plus, it's here today, though with a somewhat eye-watering price tag attached. The versatility on offer in this phone's camera system just can't be matched and likely won't be matched until 2021. This is likely the best phone camera of 2020. Again, big words. Shit. It's hard for me now to sit here and talk about the iPhone 11 Pro having the best camera when there might be something like this that can beat it. I might have to buy it. Let's see. I would make so many camera comparisons just to prove the point if it was better. I might just sell my other phones and see if I can spend the money on this. Sorry, I'm like internally thinking because I think I really want this phone. Huh. Okay, so yeah, they're talking about how, it doesn't have Google services. Yeah, due to circumstances outside of Huawei's control, and doesn't detract from the immense achievement that is this phone's camera system. But if you want the very best smartphone cameras in 2020, just be aware that getting it involves some serious software trade-offs. I think I'm going to buy this phone. I think I'm going to figure a way out to get it. Can I get it in the US? Will they ship it to me? Will it even work with the bans here in the States? Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but I really want this phone now just to mess with the camera. Okay. Anyway, let me get back into chat. So let me see here. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to read, making sure that I'm not missing anything. Ronaldo is saying, but again, it's a hit or miss, and he's talking about face unlock. With the Galaxy Note 10, right? Is that what you said? The Galaxy? Oh yeah, the Note 10 Plus for Chase. Yeah, Brian's saying really that face unlock is not secure. So Levin is saying the P40 Plus is a boss phone. I hate we can't get it here in the States and it's hella expensive, but I think not having Google is killer for me. Yeah, and you're right. It is a deal breaker for most people. And I don't blame anybody for not getting it because people need those services. Me being the kind of nerdy, want to do something different person I am, I think I want to get it just for the sake of testing out the camera, which is, again, like, I am not recommending anyone get this phone. This is me internally thinking of how good this camera is and me really wanting to test it out. So Paul is saying, just finished watching Superstaff's camera comparison with the S20 Ultra. Interesting. I don't know if that's a good interesting or a bad interesting. Karen says, I used the Mate 30 Pro as my daily while I was in China. I side-loaded Google Play once I returned to my country. Typing on it now, the P40 would be amazing in, I'm guessing, based on this Mate 30. Yeah, that's man, I really want this phone now. I really do. Tony says, hi, Jerome, I'm back. Hey, Tony, what's going on, man? Glad to have you back in the stream. Appreciate you stopping by. Levin says, I'm still mad at Google for killing G+. Actually, I had an article about this. Do you guys know that there is something called Google Currents, which is, I believe, a reincarnation of Google+, but I think you can only use it if you're a domain user, meaning you use Google Suite. But yeah, I think. Okay, anyway, I see Nigel Sugden. Nigel, what's going on? I know I've said hi to you before. It's been a minute, I'm pretty sure. Hello, everyone. Hey, Nigel, nice you could make it. Appreciate you stopping by. Kyle Brass is here as well. No access to Google is not a drawback for me. Aside from Play Store, you can sideload most apps via APK. That price, though, is a down payment for a car. It is also more... That price tag is more than any apartment I've ever paid for. A lot more. Even when I lived in Southern California, I did not pay that much for rent. So it is a very expensive price tag. Paul is saying, anyway, Kyle, welcome to the stream. Nice to see you. Right? I don't think I said hi earlier, or did I? Either way, hi. Paul says, yeah, Jerome, but selling it will be hard. That's also a very good point. I think the way you say it, Paul, it just makes me think in my head, if I bought this phone, I'm probably not going to be able to sell it, period. Unless someone wants a really good camera phone that will probably just be a camera at the end of the day. Stefan Ganav. Did I say that last name right? Stefan Ganav? Genev? Let me know which way to pronounce it so I remember next time. Hello from London. Hey, Stefan. Welcome, man. Don't think I've seen you here before. Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you. Appreciate you stopping by. Let me see here. Grant says, hey, just joined. Grant, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you. Did you hear all my talk about the P40 Pro Plus? I really want it. Grant convinced me that it's not worth spending $1,500 on. Kyle says the government knows that Huawei can give Apple a run for its money. Agreed. And don't want American data going back to China when they all have our data anyway. Also a very good point, Kyle. I don't disagree with you at all. Also, most Huawei devices will work on GSM. Thank you for sharing that. That's good to know. Grant says, or save a bit and find a P40 Pro unless you really care about the telephoto and zoom. So you're right. This is actually something I brought up earlier, Grant, is the fact that I really just want to test out the main shooter. So maybe I should just get a P40 Pro, but I don't know. To know that I can get 10 times optical and it has that kind of capability, it makes me want to test it with the iPhone 11 Pro's optical zoom and the Pixel 4s. And I just want to see how much of a monster, how much of a beast this phone really is, if it is as good as they say it is. Because I'm sitting here right now and I'm just like, I might just sell everything I have that I don't really use and spend the money for this phone. And then I would just kind of go ham making camera comparisons. And it's something I haven't done in a while because I've just been so busy and just with everything going on. But yes, I know. Thank you for kind of all of you guys for kind of bringing me back to like to ground level here and saying, I don't know, Jerome, it might not be but like I could make a video about not using Google and my experiences with it. I'm convincing myself, guys, that I need this phone. So you might be able to talk me out of it, but maybe not. We'll see. Paul says for $1,600, get a nice Sony RX and you can always pretend it's a phone. That's also a really good point. But really quick, guys, I haven't even had a chance to say this. I totally forgot. Really quick, for anyone who's in the stream, who's listening, if you're a lurker and you're not saying hi, first of all, you should say hi. It's nice to, say hi to other people in here. It's nice to have a conversation. But if you guys haven't had a chance, please consider liking the stream. Liking the stream helps me in an algorithmic kind of way, aka I think it helps people find the stream, kind of puts me on the map, if you will. And just also FYI, I stream weekdays every day, not every day, but Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Central on the dot. That will be the regular time frame from now on. It will always be at 2 p.m. unless otherwise, if something else is happening, but I will let you know. So with that being said, consider being a subscriber. You'll get notified when this stream runs. Again, it's also just a way to support me, and I appreciate it. And for anyone else who is watching or they're checking out the stream, the chat stream, and you see people with green in their name, or you see someone with a red Chicago star next to their name, that is because they are part of the Phone Jerome fam. I'm trying to make that sound good. It kind of sounds okay. The Phone Jerome fam. And you can have all these perks as well for as little as 99 cents a month. All you got to do is click the join button. You'll get the green in your name. You'll get the red Chicago star. You'll get to use custom emoji. And you'll also get your name in every intro and outro of my live streams. There are different tiers as well. Some tiers will get you access to my private Discord, which I need to be more talkative in. Actually, I have been lately. And other stuff. You just got to check it out. Again, all you got to do is click that join button, or otherwise you can go, if you can't find it, you can go to youtube.com/Phone Jerome /join. That is my little marketing thing. And that's the only one I will do for today. So either way, if you can't do any of that, that's fine as well. I appreciate the support regardless. It's always nice to have people in here, just talking tech, talking shop, talking about what's going on as far as news. And honestly, I think, no, you know what? I have another story here that I totally forgot. And it was like right here on front of my main display. So I'm going to talk about this as well. And it's about Apple. So on June 22nd, Apple is having a virtual WWDC keynote, and it's going to happen at 1 p.m. Eastern. So new Apple software updates will be announced soon. I haven't been keeping up to date with Apple lately, except hardware. So I don't know what's actually going on with WWDC. But I guess we'll read this article and talk about it. So Apple's virtual Worldwide Developers Conference keynote will take place on Monday, June 22nd. Apple has also shared more details about the schedule, which will run from the 22nd to the 26th. Apple, unsurprisingly, didn't share much about what it is actually going to show in the keynote. Discover exciting new innovations and updates coming to all Apple platforms later this year. Leaks and rumors have already revealed some new features that could be coming to iOS 14, and that Apple may announce a move to ARM-based processors. You'll be able to watch the keynote on apple.com, blah, 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 all these other places. So I'm just seeing if there's really things to mark here that we need to read about. Apple announced a redesign for the Apple Developer Forums that will launch on June 18th. And then engineering sessions. There's not much else in here. I really don't know what else is going on. This is me not really keeping up with Apple lately. We can talk about this. And actually, I really think that is all I have as far as news today. But if there's anything that you guys want to talk about in chat, I know we're at the hour mark here, but I'm happy to discuss other things. Even if you guys have questions or whatever, feel free. I'm looking at my screen here, my main display, because I have a couple other stories as well, and I can always go through those instead if you guys don't have any questions. But I'm just seeing if there's anything noteworthy to talk about. So like this article here from Tech Radar, I might as well, since we're here, is about foldable phones. Actually, I think I see some questions here, so let's actually get into that real quick before I go into anything else. Karan is saying, if you buy a flagship Huawei phone, you may never want to go back. My last phone was the Pixel 3, and I only miss the software. Karan, I know. You know what? So the only Huawei phone I've ever owned is my Nexus 6P, which is back here. And it is one of my favorite phones of like all time. That's why I've kept it. So when Huawei started to make their mark again, and they started coming out with phones with like better camera systems and whatever, and I was making a bunch of camera comparison videos, everyone was telling me, Jerome, you need to get the Huawei, whatever it was at the time. And I've been hearing Huawei's name over and over and over in terms of hardware, in terms of the camera. And I feel like I'm sitting here convincing myself that I'm gonna get it. So I don't know. We'll see. Kyle saying, nudge, the nighttime photography and long exposure, especially in RAW, is enough to put Google's astrophotography on notice, as well as other devices with, quote, dedicated night modes. Thank you, Kyle. You're just padding evidence here that I need to buy this phone, and I need to buy it today. Okay, so let's see here. Team Verizon is asking, you think we'll get any news on those Apple glasses at the keynote? Actually, that's a good thing to point out. I don't know. No, I don't want to say it here. I know some people at Apple, and I might be able to ask, but maybe. I would like to see somebody put out a replacement or something in terms of glass. What did Google just decide not to continue on with Google Glass anymore? Is there a reason for that? I don't even know the news behind that, but I would love to have a pair of glasses that has that kind of feature on it. I actually think that would be awesome for, so like for me, I ride a moped, right? Like I have this old retro Honda moped scooter. If you guys are not aware of what a moped is, it goes like 45, 50 miles an hour tops. Now that I've lost weight, it goes faster. I can get like 4 or 5 extra miles per hour on it, which is pretty awesome, honestly. But I have always wanted something like a GoPro to kind of like, but I'd have to buy like a chest mount or whatever. And it would be cool to have a pair of glasses that could record my riding sessions and stuff like that too. But yeah, I don't know. That's actually a good point though, Team Verizon. Maybe that's something they'll be talking about there. I just don't know how exciting the news is going to be for WWDC. but I guess we'll wait and see. Yeah, so I don't know. Stefan's asking, what do you think about the Xiaomi Mi Band 5? Is that the new watch? Because I don't know anything about that. Stefan, here's something you should know. Because I'm in the US, Xiaomi and all these other like other brands that are lesser known is still new for me, and it's still something I'm trying to learn. So I was about to buy a Xiaomi Mi 9T. But now, if I'm really looking at getting this P40 Pro Plus, I have to like weigh my options here. I don't know much about the Xiaomi Mi Band 5. I hope other people in chat can chime in on it. I did see a news story about it. I just didn't talk about it because so like I have my trying to put that up there. I have an Apple Watch, and I've never owned really a smartwatch since the Moto 360, and that was years ago. And then I bought this Apple Watch, a Series 3 one on discount. This is what, 2 years old, and I love it. It's actually, I didn't realize how good a smartwatch could be until I got this Apple Watch. And I don't know how far Android has come when it comes to smartwatches in general. I don't know if this Mi Band 5 is using its own OS, or is it using Wear OS. You know, Mike, who's Simply Your Device, he's somebody that I stream with. He told me he wasn't really happy with Wear OS. He prefers using the Galaxy OS, I guess, that they have for their smartwatches, but I really don't know anything on that side of it at this point. It's something that I would love to dive back into, but you know, being on a limited budget, I can't buy everything and I can't test everything out. So yeah, I don't know much about it. I would have to read into it to see. Brian says, will the price go up or down with Apple using their own processors in their laptops? I'm assuming it'll go down, but I don't know. I don't know how Apple is with their stuff. Yeah. Kyle says, Apple has no chill when it comes to prices. Yeah, I have no idea. Who knows what they have in store or what they're planning about doing. Brian says, I imagine Tony Stark throwing his OnePlus phone over his shoulder and putting on his Apple glasses. You know, it's always so funny when I see those commercials with Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. You know, being the brand ambassador for OnePlus, because I know he doesn't use a OnePlus phone. I think any of us would be crazy to think that he uses a OnePlus phone for his daily. I'm almost positive that he is using whatever, you know, iPhone is out. I can't imagine that he uses a OnePlus on the daily. It just doesn't. I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe he does love OnePlus, but I seriously doubt it. Levin says the Apple Watch is good as hell. It just doesn't work with Android, but my current smartwatch is great and smooth. What are you using? Yeah, that's the thing is, it doesn't work with Android. It's actually funny. I was, Father's Day is coming up. And so like my dad, he passed away, you know, quite some time ago already. But right now, for you guys that don't know, I'm staying with my mom, and my mom has two of my uncles and my aunt that stays here as well. And a lot of them are, well, most of them are elderly at this point. But my one uncle, who's not there yet, he's on the younger side. But it's nice to have him around, and it's I'm kind of going a little out of a topic here, but it's kind of weird. So I've been living here now for the past couple months, and having my uncle here is kind of like having a father figure. And it's really nice. It's I don't know, it's a weird feeling. And with Father's Day coming up, I was like, man, I'm like, I kind of really want to get him something for Father's Day. And I was like, I don't know what he wants. He has phones, but he doesn't have an Apple phone, and he's not an Apple fan. And so I was actually thinking about maybe getting him a smartwatch, but I don't know what kind to get him for Android or what would work well with Android. So Levin, actually, if you had any suggestions, I would love to hear it. I would like to get him something just because it's weird being here, because he's been very helpful helping out my mom, and he's always like offering to like grab dinner or something, even though I only eat twice a week. But yeah, I would love to hear what your guys' thoughts are on a good smartwatch for Android, because I have been out of that um category in a while. And yeah, any help would be good there. So yeah, Team Verizon says agreed. I get an Apple Watch were it not for the fact that I use a Pixel. Yeah, and I think that's why a lot of people want to see a Pixel watch, right? They want to see something that would work seamlessly with their Pixel. So Levin is saying he has a Fossil Gen 5 Carlisle. I'll take a look at that. Is it expensive? I don't want to spend a ton of money because I don't have a ton of money. The money I make here on YouTube and Patreon is probably going to take up like 3/4 of what I'm gonna get for him. But it's, to me, I think it's worth it. He's been such a big help, and I didn't realize that until I started staying here. And a big reason that I am staying here, guys, is also just to like try to get YouTube and stuff going to see if it can become a full-time thing, but also because with COVID-19, I run a lot of errands for my family because they are older. I would rather they stay here at home while I can run the errands for them. And, I keep my distance and all that kind of stuff. And I know it's not fully preventable, but I would rather me run the errands than them put themselves, in any kind of risk. So Kyle is saying the best smartwatch for Android, Huawei GT or Honor Magic Watch, 6 to 14 days of battery, depending on the one you get. Thank you, Kyle. I'll take a look at all these suggestions, guys, just to see. Amazfit by Xiaomi is also a good brand. Thank you. I'll do a little research later this week and see what's up with it. So he's saying Levin's saying he would like the Gen 5 Carlisle. Thanks. I'll take a look. He's pretty simple, but he's kind of techie in his own way. He listens to a lot of what I suggest, which is why he has a Pixel. He's been using a Pixel for a while, but he actually just ended up buying a Moto G recently, and I don't know why he did. I think he just saw a good deal somewhere online. I don't know if it was Amazon or whatever. And he's kind of a tech nerd in his own way. Okay, so a Gen 5 Carlisle will go for $199 on Amazon. Thanks, Levin. I'll take a look. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. So yeah, guys, thank you for sharing that. I didn't mean to go off topic there, but I figured since it was related techish that I would bring that up. So anyway, guys, I think that's it for our hour. I sound like a therapist. That our time's up. So, but our time might be up, but I will be back tomorrow, right? Today is Thursday. So we'll have a special Friday show tomorrow. We'll do it all over again. We'll talk tech. We'll have a conversation. I do want to thank everybody for stopping by. If you guys haven't had a chance, please feel free to like the stream. If you're not a subscriber, what are you waiting for? But yeah, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Appreciate it. This hour went by pretty quick, a lot quicker than I thought it would. And it's not a bad thing. It's nice to be able to talk to the community and have a discussion and, just do what we do. So tomorrow, Friday, it'll be a good show to close off the week. I'm setting up the outro here, so sorry about that. Otherwise, I think that's all the news I got. We'll find more stuff tomorrow. I want to thank everybody again for stopping by, for everybody who's in here, for all my patrons, for all the YouTube members of the Phone Jerome fam, for everybody who super chatted today. Thank you guys so much for that extra support. It means a lot to me. And I think that's it. So we'll do it again tomorrow. Here comes the outro. Have a good one, guys. Take it easy.